Hi guys, this is my second video about upgrades that I did on this printer, and I'm gonna try to share my thoughts, my tips, some more upgrades that I did, and eventually my settings that I'm using on this printer. The first thing that most people ask me is about this cover for the bed. This is a vertex cover. It's accessory from some kind of 3D printer that is here in the Sweden. So this is not the whole bed, this is only the cover. And the way this thing works is it has some kind of special sticky, not sticky by the hand, but a sticky surface for the filament. And after, when you install one of those, you mostly will not use any temperature for the bed. I mean, it's very awesome upgrade, and I highly recommend of any kind of upgrades that you do this first. I tried to print before with the glass on, with the tape on, with some hairspray and glass and some different combination, but this, after when I brought this one, I didn't have any kind of problem with printing no more. The way you install it is pretty easy. This is working like a sticker, so you just level one side and then you go slowly at the whole bed, and eventually you're gonna end up here with maybe 10mm wider than it should be. You just take some knife or some kind of scissors, and slowly you start with one side and just cut it up all the way. As you can see, it's really thin. It's kind of paper thin. Alright. The second thing that I did is that I print my motherboard cover, and I install this MOSFET for the heat bed. If you print one of those, you have to know that the cable are too short after it. So if you can see here is the X cable, the Endstop cable, it's pretty short. So you're not going to be able to use the whole height of the printer, maybe, I don't know, 15 centimeter max. So I have to cut this cable and make some extension for it. The second is my cables are in mess right now, because I'm waiting for my micro SD extension cord or extender cable, as well as my 90 degrees USB cable for connecting to the computer. After that, hopefully this will look nicely. I do have this cover as well. This will look pretty good after. So let's talk about this small MOSFET. This MOSFET is working as it bypassing your motherboard, and all the current is going directly from your power supply to this small MOSFET and then directly to your bed. So it's totally bypassing your motherboard, and your motherboard will stay cool. The way you wire this thing is you take in your plus and minus from your bed, and then you connect it to this control in signal. The second is you put your plus and minus directly to your bed, and your DC plus and minus from your power supply. So you do need a second cable to be able to install this thing. So you have to make a second cable plus and minus from your power supply to be able to install this thing. Next is this wire that comes with this small MOSFET is pretty short, so you have to make some kind of extender cable to be able to install it, if using this kind of case. Now we are at power supply side. I'm still waiting for my switch, by the way. So if you install one of those MOSFET board, to bypass your motherboard, you're gonna be using, much more current than before, especially if you are printing ABS, who requires, I don't know, maybe 100 degrees or more at the heat bed. This power supply will get hot. you know, it's not too much burning hot, but you know, for me it's pretty hot. So why should take any risk? You know what you can do, you can install some kind of you know, a heatsink, or you can put much larger than that I did. But you know, I don't do so much ABS printing right now, and I don't using that much temperature as well, you know, because I have this cover and it sticks pretty good. But if you need it, with this small heatsink that I installed, I managed to lower the temperature, you know, over 10 degrees. I mean, before it was like, let's say, you know, almost burnt to touch if you're printing ABS, as I said. But after those, I mean, you can easily hold the hand, you know, and you're gonna not get any kind of burn. I mean, it's really helping a lot. The next is that I want to talk about it is this proxy sensor that I had installed, you know, before. What I realized is that sensor, it's not helping exactly that much, you know. I just, no matter what I did, you know, no matter that I, you know, how much that I perfectly level my bed, or how much that I perfectly leveled both sides of the printer who holding the, you know, level of for the extruder, or no matter how much that I try, you know, and change the settings, you know, I spend, you know, more 6 or 7 hours, you know, adjusting you know, the codes at the Skynet. I just couldn't make it right. All the time I had a problem with the right side of the bed, and you know, it just wasn't satisfied with the prints. It was around, I don't know, 0.1 or 0.2 or 0.3 mosfet all the time at this area right here, no matter what I did. So I really, you know, I just get crazy and I say, you know, what the hell, just, you know, take this damn thing off. And after, when I take it off, I install this wait a second, right here, this belt holder and this switch, the manual switch. And let me tell you, after when I level the bed again, my prints was perfectly fine. And most of my T-Rex print is without any kind of auto leveling whatsoever. Maybe, you know, some of the guys will say, you know, that is perfect, you know, I have it and it's working, you know. I don't know, maybe, you know, maybe it's only my sensor wrong, or I don't know, maybe that I did something wrong. But you know, I think it's not, you know, must to have on this printer. The next thing is we need to talk about it is maintenance. I mean, what to do with this printer, how to maintain, or whatever, you know, how to make it, you know, live longer. Everybody's talking about these bearings, you know, these linear bearings. You know, whatever that I read about it or read about it, all the time this thing is self-lubricating. Let me tell you something, I open one of those and inside is nothing but the air. I mean, I don't know, lubricated with air or something, but there is nothing inside. So I didn't know that before, and for now I changed 2 of those liner bearings under the bed, you know, left and right side. How did I discover that was bad? The first thing is sound. I mean, you can clearly see the difference in the sound. It's more like a metallic noise or a hollow noise, and then you're gonna have a sound. If you're pressing your bed, you know, on the side, you're gonna have like a clicking noise, like a clicking sound, and that is the first sign that you're supposed to change your bearing. If you don't want to just wait, you know, till the bearings failed, what you can do is you can use some kind of lubrication, maybe some kind of oil or some kind of grease. I use Pro Bike grease. It's a lithium paste I put inside of those. Let me show how this thing look here. So self-lubricating, yeah, right, with air possibly, or maybe a drop of oil. So what I did, I take this grease and I put inside of every single of those bearing. As you can see, you have a, let's say, small seal of both sides. So if you manage to put a grease inside and then you install it, the most of the grease will be actually trapped, you know, beneath those sealing at both sides. And after, when I lubricate all of all of my bearings, my printer was much quieter. I almost forgot to mention is one more thing. It's this, you know, one of the guys at the comments. I have to thank it. And one more tip is that you can use some kind of cloth or I don't know, some material, something like this that you use most for the bathrooms. It's funny, but it's working pretty good. This is actually came from the comments of one of the guys comment the video, and he said that this is you know, pretty much helping with the vibration and with the noise. And of course that's true. After when I put this cloth underneath, this really helps with the noise, and of course it's much easier to maintain the printer. So as you can see, you can easily, you know, move the printer and turn it around if you need to. Now let's try to talk about the settings that I mostly use, and what's good in the settings and what's not good in the settings. The problem with the settings in a CURA and with the 3D printing is every model requires different type of settings. But anyway, I can, you know, share my my standard that I'm mostly using, you know, for my most of the prints. Let's take for example this T-Rex half of the skull or a head that I already printed, and it's actually did pretty good and pretty awesome quality. If we look this type of model, we can see that this model is totally, you know, shape are not equal, you know, it's hollow or a lot of teeth, you know, sharp edges, you know, it's look a little bit, you know, advanced model to print, you know, it's not a cube or anything else with parallel edges and so on. So first thing what we need to think is what kind of position should we take, you know. Should we rotate, should we left like this? What I discovered is for this type of model, if we left it like this, it will be the best way to print it. You don't need any type of support. Obviously, if we look closely, all red parts need support, but says because of this model it's a little bit larger in a scale, and of course there is a space, so we can, you know, use some sandpaper a little bit, so we can make this thing looks pretty awesome. All of these edges and hollow spaces and non-equal edges as well, nothing is parallel here, all of these teeth and sharp, this give me idea that, you know, this print will be look much better if we print in 0.1 as I did. So commonly settings 0.1, wall thickness 1.2, and top bottom thickness is 1.2. Wall thickness is obviously, you know, the wall thickness about your around your whole model. So if we print this hollow, the wall thickness will be, you know, this wall around it. Something that you need to keep in mind, that all these settings, you know, with the wall and top thickness, you need to change with your nozzle size. So if your nozzle size is 0.4 like mine, then you have, you know, like have to multiply by the nozzle size to make these two options. So for instance 0.4, then if you multiply by 2, it's 0.8, so 0.8, 1.2 and 1.6, and then so on and so on. So try to keep with the nozzle size, and you know, that will give you a pretty good print quality. Next we go to Infield density. Infield density, obviously, as the word saying, is how much infill is inside the model. For the most common size, I'm using, you know, from 20 till 25%. Of course, that depends of your model, you know, what kind of model are you printing. You know, this is a model, you know, just for showing, so it doesn't need to be so much strong. So you can use, you know, all the way from the 0 or 10, 15. I love to be 25, because 25 gives you, you know, like a strong part. So you know, not so much filament, you know, waste, but 20-25%, it's you know, where you want to be. So if you click here on the left side and then we go to the layers, then we can see all the layers which nozzle will print, and 25% or 20% of the infield density. I mean, this is what it is. If we change from 20 till 50, let's say, then we're gonna see what's a different, you know, in all this infield material. Let's see how it will be with a 50%. You see, much more much more close to density. I mean, this is totally overkill for this kind of model. I mean, obviously, if you're not gonna, you know, like drop this head to somebody or throw it to the wall, you don't need, you know, go higher than 25%. All right. Next thing is printing temperature. Printing temperature is, you know, I'm mostly using PLA, and I discover everything from, you know, 190 degrees to 210, everything going well. So I try to keep this, you know, like between. So 200 degrees, it's a pretty good value for any kind of PLA. I order a bunch of PLAs, you know, I think 5 or 6 rolls, different colors of different sellers, and all the PLA working pretty good with 200 degrees. Next thing is plate temperature. Plate temperature, as I mentioned before, since I install my vertex, I don't use, you know, heating bed, I mean, so much. For this huge type of modeling, if you use another option, which I show you soon, which called Brim Options, right there on the plate, on the build plate, you don't need to use any kind of you know, temperature. So if you want to use it, the most commonly it's a 55 degrees for any types of PLA. Let's see. Diameter right now that we go to the next, obviously it's 1.75 millimeter. The filament flow 100%. Retraction. This is a pretty good option to turn on. This retract the filament when the nozzle is moving over the not printing area. If you put these options on, and you can copy and paste my settings, the nozzle will still dry, you know, so it will not, you know, like a leaking around the model. Speed. The most important is, you know, everybody is in a rush. Everybody pushing this speed, you know, high as possible. Let's print higher speed. For me, you know, I'm that guy that loves actually that you know, all the parts are you know, perfectly good and fine quality prints. You don't need so much rush, you know. I mean, look at here. This is 6.5 hours of printing. I mean, for me, if I, you know, start this print before then I'm going to the bed, if this is 6.5 hours or 8 hours, for me, it, you know, it's the same thing. For me, you know, 1 hour up or down on this huge model, if I'm sleeping, I mean, that's not you know, something that I need to take care much. So if we print this type of model, if we look here, all these edges, all these teeth, you know, around it, then I'm thinking about, you know, 35 till 45 is a maximum that you can, you know, that's that you want to go with this kind of model. Infield speed, that's 80 millimeter per second. Wall speed, obviously most of the people doesn't know, so you know, all these options, extra options, if came from here. So if you click right there, then you can, you know, choose more and more you know, advanced options. You know, half of these options I don't even try it. I mean, I really don't need it. But you know, mostly people think, you know, I'm gonna just put 100 here, and then it's gonna be the 100 all the way. No. So the CURA work, if you put let's say the 100 millimeter per second here, let's try it, 100, then the wall speed will still be 50, and out speed 50, and inner wall speed 100. So now why is like that? Because, you know, this is a pretty smart and nice option to have. It's you know, even if you want to put the more speed in it, then this speed will be inside the model, you know, not visible to the eye. And this wall speed, you know, outer wall speed, and wall speed will be still 50, you know, so all the visible size will be printed at the lower rate, so the quality will be greater than you know, other layers which is inside the model could be printed at much higher speed. You see here inner wall speed 100 and out wall speed 50. So if we look about this model, as I mentioned, if I want to print it right now again, I will have this at 35. Top and bottom speed. This is pretty important. You know, first layer is the most important layer that it has to be perfect, you know. And the most problem, you know, most common problem is because mostly people doesn't care about the first layer and then just left the printer, you know, to printing something huge. And of course, after a couple of, you know, let's say first 50 layers or maybe 100 layers, then it starts to, you know, like a warp around, or, you know, make some different shapes, and you know, the print doesn't look that well. So, you know, the foundation, the first layer needs to be the perfect. So you can, if we look, you know, like a first layer here, obviously this can print much faster than 20 and still be great. But if we look up here at the top, what we have here, we have a teeth, and the teeth needs to be print slowly to make it look like teeth. So obviously, look at this. If we print these edges like higher and higher, this filament will be go all around here and it will be ugly. So top layer, as you can see right there, let's say 700 right there, needs to be printed at lower speed. So you can leave that, you know, like at 20, you know, 15, 20 or something like that. 25 maximum, but not on that model. On that model I will leave maximum 20. Travel speed. The travel speed is a speed, of course, where you know, when your nozzle is traveling out of layers. You know, it's mostly when it's printing, you know, in filament, like infill. Infill is mostly printing at travel speed. You don't wanna, you know, go so much higher than the print speed as well, because you're gonna have so much different in a speed between those, and can mess up your prints. Mostly I'm trying to you know, to take this closely, or maybe higher a little bit, you know, with the printing speed. Cooling, I just, you know, click it here and it's at 100% that I know about. Support on this model, we don't need support. You know, if we closely look on all the red areas, we should get support, but it's not that important because it's a huge model. You get so much space, you can, you know, use a little bit sandpaper or fill and make it smooth on this area. So it's not must, you know, must to have it on this one. What next? Support. This option is pretty awesome. This Brim Options under the build plate, it's a very good option. Let me show you what is doing. If you look closely here, this is your Brim. So Brim is an extra material who holds your model in the place. So Brim Options 8mm, it's totally fine for this model because it's already too much wide. But let's say if you print something like a stick or something which is thin and tall, then you can use here like a 12 or 16mm, and, you know, the wider it goes, the better it is, you know. Print sequence all at once. That's a very important feature that you leave it like it is, because let's say if we you know, choose these options and then we have different models, we're risking that the nozzle would hit other models on the plate if they are different, you know, size and shapes. So that was the settings for the 0.1. 0.2, almost the same, only the speed is a little bit different. On the, you know, medium quality or normal quality, I'm using anything from, you know, 45 to 55, 65, and as I mentioned, even if you put 65, this will still be half of the speed. If you want to print something fastly, you know, then you can change every single of those till 65, let's say 65 and 65, and then you're gonna get a higher, you know, like a faster print. Look at this, hour and 36 minutes. So I don't know how it's gonna look at this speed. I don't want to even try it, but I know it's gonna be messy. So this is it. I hopefully this video helped you a little bit, you know, with the 3D printing. I mean, I'm not the professional, but I'm spending so many hours, you know, trying all these options and how to think. Of course, one more thing, it's I forget to mention before when I finish. Let's say you have a couple of models here, you know, like a different model that you want to print. It's very important to look at layers, where the nozzle is going, you know, to the next layer. So maybe sometimes you need to rotate one of those models around it to make, you know, print easier. But of course, I don't have a model right now to show it. But keep in mind that sometimes you need to rotate to make a better print. That's it. I hope I helped somebody with this video. Copy the settings, they are pretty good, and if you need any more help that I can help you with it, let me know in the comment section. I wish you best luck with the printing. Take care and bye bye.